Hey guys, so I'm up around $110,000 on NFTs this year, and I wanted to make a video just sharing everything I know about NFTs. It's literally just gonna be like a brain dump. So this video will be meant as a full guide on how to invest for NFTs from all of my learnings and previously lost money. So by watching this video, you should understand how I think about NFTs, how to identify a good NFT project from a bad NFT project, and I'll share some resources with you that can help you on your NFT journey. So disclaimer before we start, NFT investing is incredibly speculative. In fact, you should not be investing any money that you're not willing to lose into NFTs. For the newer investor, it's probably not a very good fit because NFT markets are really volatile, so you could lose all of your money really quickly. In fact, before being up around $100,000 as of now, I was actually down $25,000 on NFTs and I was super discouraged, and I basically attribute the current gain that I have due to a lot of luck, but I've also learned a lot of stuff along the way that I'm gonna share with you. Now, to even buy an NFT, you're gonna need to have a wallet with some cryptocurrency in it, like Ethereum or Solana. The first step you gotta do is go to Coinbase or any other exchange and buy some Ethereum. If you do use Coinbase with the link in description below, you'll actually get for free between $5 and $10 if you use the link in my description. So make sure you guys use that link. But once you connect your bank account or your card to Coinbase, you can then buy some cryptocurrency like Ethereum. Then what you wanna do is you wanna go to metamask.io and set up a wallet. Once you've set up that wallet, you'll actually want to copy the wallet address. Then you want to send your Ethereum that you bought in your Coinbase account to your MetaMask wallet, at which point then you'll be ready to buy on Ethereum platforms like OpenSea. For Solana, it's mostly the same process, but instead of going to MetaMask, you're actually going to use a Phantom wallet, and the address for that is phantom.app. So both of these are Chrome extension wallets that are super easy to use and fund. So currently the biggest platforms for NFTs are Ethereum and Solana. So Ethereum-based projects are by far the most popular right now, but they're also more saturated and expensive because of gas fees. These are the fees that you have to pay just for using the network. So sometimes if you just want to list an NFT for sale on OpenSea, for example, you're going to pay in the hundreds of dollars based on the network traffic and the gas fees. That's definitely one drawback of the Ethereum platform. So that's why I've been mostly investing in Solana NFTs, which cost very little for transactions to actually go through. The other thing I want to bring up is that the NFTs that I'm going to be talking today are actually collections. So they're not actually one of one unique art pieces. One type is a one of its kind. So like there's only one, for example, Starry Night that exists. But with a collection NFT, you basically use a template, and then there are going to be traits and characteristics given to those NFTs. And the more rare that those traits are, the more that they're going to go for. All right, without further ado, let's actually go into my computer screen and we'll actually go over how to tell a good project from a bad project. All right, so I've basically pulled up OpenSea, which is an Ethereum marketplace for NFTs, and I've pulled up a project that I think is, quote, good, and that is called Doodles. Usually when you're trying to figure out if a project is good versus bad, you usually want to look at a lot of factors. Number one, I like to look at the art. So is the art unique? Does it have mainstream appeal? For Doodles, I can definitely tell that the art seems unique. It seems rather simple and minimalistic, yet still it's colorful and lighthearted. And for me, it's like, okay, this probably has mainstream appeal because many people can buy into Doodles and, you know, kind of associate themselves with the art, or basically they find something that they might like within the art itself. Now compare this project to an art project like, I don't know, let's actually look at the rankings right here. Let's actually look at maybe the Bored Ape Yacht Club, which is a very well-known art project, but you know, Karen from Minnesota might not really like these apes because, I don't know, they're ugly to her, but she might like the Doodles because they're a little bit more friendly to Karen in Minnesota. So that's basically one way that you can kind of gauge an NFT's art value is, okay, does it have mainstream appeal, or does it just appeal to you and do you like it? Now that we're on this page of Doodles, we can actually go to their website, and this is something that I always like to look at, is look at a project's website because that'll tell you a lot about the project itself. Is there a lot of work being done on the website itself? Does it look professional? Is it actually made well, or is it just kind of thrown together? This one in particular is just kind of a splash page, but one of the interesting things about Doodles is that each of the founders is not anonymous. So if we look right here, we can see that Evan Keast is one of the founders, as well as Burnt Toast, which is an alias for Scott Martin, a Canadian-based illustrator, designer, animator, and muralist. And so his past clients include WhatsApp, Google, and Snapchat. And if we actually click on his Twitter profile, we can see that he actually has a little portfolio of his own called Burnt Toast Creative. And he's probably done a lot of NFT projects or just art projects in general that have the same type of styles that Doodles does. And it seems like he's got a really well-rounded portfolio. The other founders are also on Twitter, you know, Jordan Castro, a blockchain builder since 2013, and also Evan Keast, who also worked at Kabam, which was actually a company that I used to work for. So right away, this tells me that these people are probably higher integrity than an anonymous developer because you kind of know who they are. They have a reputation on the line. And this is what's called doxed. So these guys are doxed as in their identities are revealed. In my opinion, a project is usually a little bit better when the developers are doxed because that actually shows that they have a long-term mindset, hopefully, and that long-term mindset should convert to value in the short to medium term for any NFT holder of that project. The next thing I like to check is their actual Discord. So if we go back to the Doodles page on the OpenSea website, you can just click on their Discord button right here. And what I like to do is I like to actually go into the Discord and try to get a sense of what the community is like. So when you go into these Discords, you basically want to be paying attention to the general chat, kind of get a sense for the community, see what they're actually talking about, make sure that there are messages actually flowing through the Discord itself. Now, if you see a lot of chatter about floor price, that's usually a sign that it's not a good project because if the holders of the NFTs are in the Discord trying to pump up the project for their own sake, that's not really long-term minded and generally a bad sign for the project. So I've been going through the Doodles general chat for a little bit here, and I haven't really noticed too much chatter about the price of the actual NFT, which is a pretty good sign. And see, we see some photos of the actual Doodles team meeting up with NFT holders. So that's also a really good sign for this chat, in my opinion. Now, compare that to a Discord like this one. This is called Phoenix Dan John. It's a new Solana project, but basically I've been looking at the general chat for a little bit here for a few days, and I'd always notice a lot of chatter about the price. So if we actually just look right here, I'm viewing some older messages from today around 30 minutes ago, but you see a lot of chatter about the price itself. For example, 3 left, 210 sol floor, get us past 10, come on. And then people are saying delist, which means basically delist. 10 floor and don't look back. I can smell 10 floor price. And then you see this big emojis delist. So basically when people are asking to delist, it's basically reducing the supply of what's listed, thereby raising the price. But you can tell that this community is way too focused on the price and not the project itself. Now, does that actually mean it's a bad project? Obviously, everyone in this Discord is really hyped up, which is really great, and that's a good sign. But for me, it's kind of a yellow flag, and it's something that I'm not going to be investing into just as quickly. I'm not going to buy as quickly because I think that, I'd rather see a community that's more long-term minded than this. The next thing you can do is actually check out the project's Twitter. So I've just pulled up the Doodles project Twitter itself. I just want to see if they're at least somewhat active. They have a pretty good follower count. Hopefully those followers are not botted. You always want to check the engagement of the actual posts themselves. But clearly we can see that a lot of these posts, I'm just going to find one that's actually theirs. We are all going to make it. This one actually has 104 retweets and 820 likes. So I can kind of tell that this Twitter, at least from Doodles, seems to be real. There's like real engagement on there. They're posting every day. It seems like kind of an active community. So that's always a good sign on their Twitter. So now I'm going to ask the Doodles team if they have a roadmap because I'm pretty curious. So I'm just going to say, hey guys, interested in buying a Doodle? I'm not, but I'm interested in buying a Doodle. That's what I'm going to say. Does the project have a roadmap? So after I asked for the roadmap, they actually gave me one, which is right here, and that's a Twitter post. So I'm just gonna go ahead and read through the roadmap. It looks like it's an animated roadmap, which is actually pretty cool. I've noticed with good projects, they usually have a different type of roadmap than any other project that preceded it. So if you see a roadmap that's very similar to one that already has existed, then that's not gonna be of high value. But if a project is doing something completely new, that usually gets you a little bit of a premium on the actual NFT itself because people are really excited about that. The next thing I like to check is basically how many items are there with the supply and how many holders are there, because this ratio is pretty important. You want to be a little cautious of the projects that have a lot of items that are just held by a few amount of people, because that means those few amount of people can actually influence the market quite a bit. So Doodles has 10,000 items and 5,200 owners. That's pretty healthy. That means each owner probably owns less than 2 Doodles on average, which is a pretty good distribution. If we go to stats and then rankings here, we can actually see that for example, Bored Ape Yacht Club, there's 10,000 items and 5,800 owners. CryptoPunks has 10,000 items and 3,200 owners. The Littles NFT has 10,000 items and 5,500 owners, and so on and so forth. If you're looking on Solana, you can type in solanafloor.com. And this website will basically tell you the current project, the number of tokens or the number of NFTs that are available, and the number of owners that it has. So for example, Solana Monkey Business has 2,300 owners, but a total of 5,000 tokens or 5,000 NFTs. So the average per owner is going to be 2.17, which is a healthy distribution. All right, so the next thing I look at is percent listed. If it's less than 20%, I generally think that's a pretty good sign. Anything higher than 20% is not a good sign, and it's generally showing you that there are a lot more paper hands on the market than there are holders. All right, so let's talk about rarities. Right now I'm on magiceden.io, which is the Solana NFT platform that I like to use. It's very similar to OpenSea in that sense. But basically, each NFT will have different types of rarities. You can think of rarities like having a rare card in a trading card game. So for example, like a Pokemon holographic versus a regular common card. That'll be a very similar analogy to what you see in NFTs. Usually we'll see the rare ones go for more, but we actually don't know what's rare, but there are many websites that you can look at to check rarity. For example, on Solana, there's something called moonrank.app. And if we actually just go onto Moonrank and type in Solana Monkey Business, we can actually see what are going to be the rarer of the Solana Monkey businesses and what makes them rare. So as we scroll down here, we can see that these are ranked in rarity 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it goes all the way down from rare to common. Let's look at number 29. He looks kind of cute with a leprechaun hat, but if we click on number 29, we can see that his clothes, the pirate vest, there's only 64 out of 5,000 of them, or about 1.28%. The top hat that he's wearing is 1.48%. That means only 1.48% of this total collection actually has a green top hat. So rarities are pretty important because it'll show you how valuable that NFT is, and the whales are definitely gonna pay a large premium for a really rare NFT. So let's go back to the Doodles page and let's actually talk about what a floor price is, what the volume traded means, and what a good strategy is for actually buying an NFT depending on the rarity. So as we're on this page, we can actually scroll down. I have it just toggled to buy now and sorted by price low to high. But we can see that we can buy this guy for 2.87 Ethereum, which is actually quite a lot of money. But there's this guy at the floor, which means that he's the lowest priced NFT. We can see that there's one at 2.87, one at 2.88, one at 2.9, 2.95, but then it steps up to 3.03. So I would actually call this floor rather thin, and that just means there aren't going to be a lot of purchases needed to get to the next milestone. If, for example, we had an NFT project and let's say you had 20 of them listed at 2.87, 2.88, 2.89, 2.9, 2.9, etc., that would mean the floor is not so thin, and it would take a lot of volume and a lot of transactions before that floor price actually moved up. In this case, if we actually scroll down on Doodles, we can see, let's see how many it actually takes to get to the 3.5 mark. So you would have to buy 1, 2, 3. Okay, 49 would be the answer. So 49 more need to sell before the actual floor price gets to 3.5. And if we actually go back up to the top and we click on activity, we can see how often they actually get bought. So we can see that about an hour ago, 2 of them sold. And then right here, 3 sold in the previous hour. Before that, 4 or 5 sold, I think. And then, yep. So you can kind of see that the volume is there, but it's not super high. I'm going to show you now a project with a super high amount of volume on Solana, for example. So now I'm on the Solana page of Stoned Ape Crew. And if we just look at the activity here, we can see that these are selling pretty hot, right? Like we have a full page of sales, albeit these sales are a lot cheaper than Ethereum sales. So you'll definitely see higher volume that way. But still, this is a pretty good sign for project because as we tab through all the pages here, we can see that just in 1 hour, we've probably had a good 30 sales. So that's a really sign of a healthy NFT project. Now, when it comes to actually buying an NFT, you either want to buy the rarest, so the top, or you want to buy the floor. Because the problem is that if you were to buy something in the middle here, let's say we bought, I'm just scrolling down on the Doodles page right here, but let's say we bought something for like 5 Ethereum or 4 Ethereum. Let's say we bought this guy right here, Doodles 9603, and he's 3.95 Ethereum. Well, the problem is that the floor price is a full 1 Ethereum below that price right now. So if we bought this guy, we would actually have not a lot of liquidity, which means that there aren't a lot of buyers looking to buy that certain NFT right now. Generally, when people are buying NFTs, they want to either buy the floor, which is the cheapest, or they want to go to the very, very top and buy the most rare of the rare because those will probably hold their value the most over time. So we talked about moonrank.app for Solana NFT projects in terms of rarity, but for Ethereum, there's also something called rarity.tools where we can look up rarity as well. So just as an illustration, we can look up some of the collections that they have that are listed on the Rarity.tools website. For example, Cool Cats NFT, which is very similar in art to Doodles, but we can see what's rare and what's not. But what's really interesting about Rarity Tools is that they have this upcoming tab, and this is what I want to talk about. In order to find out about good new projects, you want to be on the lookout for basically what are called mints. Mints are like the equivalent of, I don't know, a Nike shoe drop. So whenever Nike drops a new shoe, they basically say, hey, the drop is today at 7 p.m. And if you want to get in on the shoe, you got to be online at 7 p.m. ready to press that add to cart button. A mint is very similar. It's usually a new NFT project, and that's when you can actually buy the NFTs at a very, very cheap price. So by going to Rarity.tools and then the upcoming NFT sales tab here, you can see what the upcoming mints are actually going to be. This is one of the good ways to find a good project. So for example, this one called the EMETH project, which is a pretty funny NFT name, it mints for 0.1 ETH. That means if you mint this, there are 8,888 total in supply. And at 2 a.m. in Los Angeles today, this would be minted. So that means they're basically offering up an initial sale of their NFTs. But what's interesting here is that this is one of the biggest strategies in NFT flipping, is to buy them at the mint, which is the initial offering price, and then flip them quickly once they get listed on a secondary market like OpenSea or Magic Eden. So clearly with Rarity.tools, we can see all the upcoming NFT drops. And then what you can do from here is then you can do your research with their Discord, their Twitter, or their website. For example, Master9Eyes, we can check out their Twitter, we can check out their website, and go through the same process that we went through for Doodles early on. Another tool for Solana is called howrare.is. And so basically, if you go to here, you can click on this upcoming drops button at the top right here, and it should also give you what the new mints are going to be, their price, and basically what time they're going to mint at. So that's one strategy to make money with NFTs, or how to invest in NFTs, is you can mint them and then you can basically flip them on the secondary market right away, or even after a day or after 2 days. For example, this new real estate project called Portals dropped last Friday on Solana, and they were minting for 1.5 Solana each, which is about $300. That's actually quite high for an NFT mint, but for this case, a lot of people right now are really into digital real estate. And as you can see, the floor price has already gone up almost 8 to 10x of what the original mint price was. And that's not even including the fact that you could mint a possible rare card or rare NFT. However, this is kind of risky, because if the project kind of sucks, then what happens is it's going to mint and then it's going to drop below the mint price on the secondary, causing you to lose some money. A good example that I had for you guys where you're going to hold for quite a little bit of time and then sell later is, for example, the project that I'm invested in, which is called Boryoku Dragons. I bought initially one of these for 20 Sol back on the 5th of November, and just almost 3 weeks later, it's now worth around 250 Sol. So that's almost a 12x return on my initial buy. So that's personally what I want to do, is I want to try to invest my NFT money into projects that I think are going to be really well established in the future. And that's just based on a lot of soft observations, but it usually has to do with the art, the team, and the roadmap, and how good the community is. If you're new to NFTs, you really want to stick to some of the top projects, because the top projects aren't going to be as volatile as some of the others and should retain their value even during a bear market. All right, so I realized that I didn't even show you guys how to buy an NFT. So I'm going to do that on Magic Eden right now for Solana NFTs. The first thing you want to do is connect your wallet. Mine's already connected if I press the button, because I signed into it a little bit earlier. As we can see here, this is my burner wallet, and it has some Solana in it and also 2 NFTs that I can transfer back to my original wallet or my hardware wallet. But basically, I want to buy a stoned ape, so I'm going to refresh right here. And I'm not going to buy the lowest one, because that one actually might get sniped while we're recording. So I'm going to buy the second highest one, this guy. Just for the sake of this example, I'm going to connect my wallet, and now I can click buy now for 2.65 Sol, or I can make him an offer that he may or may not accept. So I'm going to just click buy now. I want this guy. I like, his attributes. He's an artist. He's got an Xbox controller. I'm going to buy him right now. So I'm going to click buy now. And then as you can see with Magic Eden, the network fee is very, very, very minimal, versus on Ethereum, the gas fee might be very high. So I'm going to just press approve. I'm going to lose 2.65 Sol, but I'm going to gain this NFT. All right, it says my purchase was fulfilled. And then if I just click my profile item right here, or my profile button, and I click my items, I can see that I now own the Stoned Ape Crew NFT number 3332, which is perfect. So that's pretty much how you would buy an NFT. It's the same on Ethereum with OpenSea. You would just use a MetaMask wallet instead, and you would send Solana or Ethereum into those wallets using Coinbase or whatever exchange you want to use. All right, in terms of other ways to find out about good projects, you can go on Twitter and follow a lot of these NFT influencers. So for example, I have Zeneca33 pulled up. He actually has a Substack newsletter just about NFTs, and I really like following his Twitter account. But for Solana, I really like Trader Kaz. He's always talking about the different types of projects that are going to be out there. And sometimes he'll even drop really good nuggets of knowledge. So it's always a good idea to be paying attention to all these Twitter accounts. Just as another example, Soul Fade, I got really good intel as well as Nathan Roth. This guy is actually just a really good aggregator of different types of NFT projects and always likes to drop like a really cool little chart. Let me see if I can find it. For example, passive yield for different types of NFT projects. He's got a chart for that. And then he usually does a power rankings chart so you can see what the best NFTs are based on their floor price. So that's pretty interesting as well. Another good way to find out about good projects is to be a member of a good community. So if you buy into an NFT community, you usually have other like-minded people there, and that's where you can trade your ideas and trade your alpha, as they call it, between other community members to maybe get in on some cool new mints and NFT drops. Personally, I'm a member of this one called Boryoku Dragons. As you can see, everything in the Boryoku Village tab right here, these are all kind of private chats. And they actually have like a little NFT cave where you can talk about different types of projects that might be coming up. So it's always kind of good to network online and try to join these communities, try to learn from other people, try to see what makes a good NFT project and what doesn't, because as you share ideas, you all learn in the process, and you should get better at doing this, which is buying and selling NFTs. All right, so let me show you guys this resource. This is my spreadsheet that I track all of my NFT buys and sells in, and I'm actually gonna leave this link in the description below so that you can just feel free to copy this spreadsheet for yourself. But basically, I maintain this. It's all super manual, so I know it's a little bit painstaking, but I really love to see what my profit and loss is with NFTs. Anyways, here's the columns that I have. I have the date that I bought it, the price in Ethereum that I paid for the NFT, what the price of Ethereum was trading for that day when I bought it so that I can get the USD value of whatever I paid for that NFT was. I then have separate columns for dates sold, what the price of Ethereum I sold it in was, and also a conversion back to the USD value of whenever I sold it was. And then in column K, what I have is the total profit and loss of the NFT. So whatever the value I sold it for minus what I paid for it. So let me show you one of the first projects that I actually bought into. They were actually called Salamas, and I actually owned quite a bit of them. As you can see right here, they make up quite a large portion of this spreadsheet, but I want to show you guys what one actually looks like. So this is one of the Salamas right here. It's pretty cute, but I didn't know anything about buying NFTs at the time. So I was just actually buying the middle. I wasn't buying the floor or the rare like I was telling you about earlier. I was just buying the middle. So as a result, I can't find any liquidity for these Salamas, and I actually ended up having to sell them at a loss at the floor price. That was also before I knew that much about NFTs, so I was just buying whatever looked good, and I wasn't really checking into the team, the Discord, the roadmap, etc. Another big loss that I took was early on, I bought these Sol Punks, which I thought were going to be the crypto punks of Solana. And so basically they look kind of like CryptoPunks. If you don't know what a CryptoPunk is, it's a very sought after Ethereum NFT. I would say the most sought after Ethereum NFT. And so I bought these Sol Punks thinking that that would at least have some weight and some value. And I thought they would be the CryptoPunks of Solana. But indeed I was wrong, because I lost a good, cool $2,400 on just 2 of these NFTs. I do have a filter up here at the top. So if I just go to sold in general, I can actually kind of look at what I've paid for all of these NFTs that I've sold. So in total, the amount that I've actually paid for all the sold NFTs was a whopping $29,000. And in fact, the USD value that I got back was $51,000. So I was up around $22,000 from selling all of these NFTs, but that's mostly due to a really successful mint I had right here. As you can see here, I turned, as I said earlier, with portals. I bought one for 1.5 Solana, and I actually flipped it for 150 Solana before fees. And the fees is usually like 4 to 5% on Solana, but still I made out like a bandit. So I made almost 100x return on that guy. So if I exclude these numbers in my initial, I don't know, valuation of whatever I've sold, I've actually only, let's see, made $16,000. So I was actually down $13,000 before the mints of the portals. So as you can see, your Fortunes can actually change rather quickly when it comes to NFTs. All it takes is one good project or one good mint to get you back into the green or increase your profits even further. Now, if we go to my own portfolio, now you can see basically I've paid in a total of $41,000 into my currently owned NFT portfolio. And the current USD value without even some of these being filled in is around $167,000. So that's very impressive for me. I'm very happy with that. And it's mostly from the success of just one project, which is I own 3 Boryoku dragons, like I said before. And I got in early because I thought the roadmap of them was just super unique. It wasn't being done on Solana, and that's kind of why I bought into it. I also really like the art and the community. So I got pretty lucky in that sense. And that's basically how I view my Solana NFT or my total NFT journey as well. I will say that I do not like Ethereum NFTs that much anymore, just simply due to the gas fees. Just to do a transaction would cost you $100 to $200 at times, especially when the network traffic is really high. And that's something that just kind of bothers me because I don't want to be spending $100 just to list an NFT or $200 just to have a NFT transaction go through. All right, so that was everything I know about NFTs condensed into one video. Hopefully you found it helpful. If you would like this spreadsheet or any of the resources I've talked about today, including the $10 worth of free cryptocurrency through Coinbase, make sure to check out the links in description below and make sure to subscribe to my channel. I want to make more video content like this if you guys like it. As always, I hope that you have a good day and I appreciate you watching. It's because of you that I can do this, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.